This is Comoros, a small island nation nestled in the Indian Ocean. With a population of just 864,000, it's one of the least populous countries in the world. Yet, it faces some of the most daunting economic challenges. They have no industry, no tourism, no exports, meaning little revenue. It grapples with a scarcity of natural resources, a lack of skilled workers, and underdeveloped industries, rendering it a nothing economy. It has nothing to rely on for future growth, other than money coming from abroad, leaving it extremely vulnerable to outside shocks. For example, rising global food and fuel prices have a hugely disproportionate impact on Comoros. Its GDP of just 1.3 billion is made up mostly by inefficient, outdated sectors. Around 50% of its output is agriculture, placing them centuries behind most advanced economies in terms of development. To put this into perspective, the global average portion of GDP taken up by agriculture is 4%. As a result, the country's growth has been stuck in a low growth trap for decades, averaging about 2.6% since 1980, with a poverty rate estimated at 40% in 2022. Now let's investigate the reasons behind their frankly depressing economy. A huge factor for their severe lag behind the world is decades of political turmoil and instability. Comoros was initially a French colony, with administrative ties to Madagascar. As the global movement for decolonization gained momentum in the 1960s and 70s, Comoros sought independence. A 1974 referendum revealed a strong desire for sovereignty among the Comorian people, except on the island of Mayotte, which opted to remain under French governance. Despite this division, Comoros declared its independence in 1975, and while the United Nations recognized the new nation, France only acknowledged the independence of 3 islands, maintaining a claim over Mayotte. Comoros's journey as an independent nation has been anything but smooth. The country has experienced more than 20 attempted coups since independence, with various heads of state being assassinated. This political turmoil reached a peak with the controversial 2018 referendum, which introduced significant systemic changes and was met with severe opposition and persecution of dissenters. The constant state of political upheaval has had dire economic consequences too. The last few decades have deterred foreign investment, prevented long-term planning, which has led to international isolation. A tiny number of countries are willing to trade with them. As a result, Comoros has struggled with economic stagnation, with a significant portion of the population now in poverty. So how exactly does a country function in a situation like this? Well, their history and small size has resulted in a very strange economy for modern times. Farming and fishing are huge areas of importance for Comoros. Agriculture is their lifeblood, employing about 34% of the population. Although food and fishing are vital sectors, it is not enough to self-supply the population. Most of their imports, primarily arriving from Asian countries such as China and Pakistan, consist of rice and other food. They also import most basic goods that they cannot produce themselves, such as electronics, fuel, transport, and cement. Many of these goods are final consumer goods. As they have little to no industry, they are unable to produce basic appliances such as ovens, tables, refrigerators, and so on. So, they pay the price by importing these expensive items, straining government budgets. In terms of exports, they have little to offer, but they do have one main partner, their long-time colonizers, France. The islands are dubbed the Perfume Isles. Due to their export of aromatic essences like vanilla and cloves, they are the second largest exporter of vanilla in the world. Other than that, there are little ways to bring income from abroad. The main way is not through trade, but instead remittances from people living and making money in foreign countries to then bring home to their families. Tourism should be a hot sector in a beautiful, warm country like this, but little investment has been made over the years due to dangerous political conditions. It's a huge reason why hardly anyone has heard of Comoros. At least with other small island nations such as Mauritius, tourism gives them a name to be heard globally. With such little way of income, Comoros relies heavily on international aid. The European Union, for example, has allocated significant funds, focusing on areas like health, social protection, and infrastructure development. There is one wild card that could play into their hands for the future, though. This is their demographics. The average age in Comoros is 20, which essentially secures their future workforce. Whether they work abroad and bring money back, or help build a modern economy at home, this labour force proves the country's potential. Whether the conditions improve in the future is anybody's guess. Their best bet is to capitalise on periods of rare stability and expand their tourism industry, using their young workers to take advantage of the country's untapped natural beauty. Thank you for watching.